Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompeani. Lots to get into. The Penguins looking for a GM. One may be available that they didn't expect originally. We'll talk about that. We'll also get into OTAs this week. That's right. 2 quarterbacks signed. What do they do with Alex Highsmith? But the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown will be the Pirates, who lost 2 of 3 this weekend to Arizona. Here to talk about is your panel. We have Jeff Hathhorn. In the middle, Andrew Fillipponi. To his left, it's Chris Adamski. And we're talking about what happened last night. Andrew, I'm going to start with you. Here we go.
Thank you, because I've been dying to talk about this.
Well, this is a topic that, when you see it happen, you're wondering, Mitch Keller's been their ace. He's been their stopper. He essentially stopped what would have been a 14-game losing streak with 2 gem performances. And yet last night, 6 innings into it, 84 pitches, an extra day of rest, and yet he was taken out. And the reasoning didn't necessarily make a lot of sense to me. What was your take?
Well, there was no reason. There was no logic applied in the situation. It's really the first time I've looked at Derek Shelton, because the first 3 years, how do you evaluate a guy with the roster he had? You couldn't. So here's this opportunity right now to prove to people that he deserved his contract extension. You take out your best pitcher at 84 pitches and you say it's because he struggled in the stretch. Hello, he starts the next inning with no one on base. It's not the 10th inning with the ghost runner. And if he gets in trouble, hell, you've got a bullpen. You've got guys that can come in and get out of jams. So to me, this series loss was on Derek Shelton. And it's really the first time I felt like, maybe the Pirates do not have the right guy as their skipper, Jeff.
I mean, I think every manager makes a mistake, and I think he goes with his gut on some of these decisions.
Well, then
and
say
he was wrong.
He didn't say
he was
gut.
Wrong.
He said
he was wrong.
The arm slot.
The arm slot didn't make any sense.
Arm slot.
He's going to start the 7th inning with 84 pitches. He's allowed 2 runs.
I understand.
Jeff, you can't attempt to defend this. Can you really?
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying he made a mistake. Like, I'm not going to get rid of him because he made this mistake.
Well, I'm not trying to fire him either. I'm just saying right now I'm trying to determine, is he a good manager or not? And this was evidence in the not
And I think
category.
he's also, I think nowadays in today's game, everybody is super cautious with pitchers. So maybe that
at 84 pitches?
I'm just saying, maybe that's what went
after
into
he pitched 100 pitches and 90 whatever pitches the 2 previous starts.
Right.
And I thought, wow, this is good. They're letting their ace, established ace, finally have some leash. I thought that they were like, we're taking what Kevin Cash did in the World Series 3 years ago. Screw that. We got our horse. We're going to ride him. And then he got an extra day rest. And I thought that was actually a sign. I actually thought that, like, well, people thought he should start Friday on his normal rest. Give him the extra day. Okay, well, this is good. He won't have a leash. He won't be in a pitch count.
I thought if there was
that.
a pitch count to me, I thought it was going to be 110. That's what I thought.
It was the shortest start of the year.
Right.
And now the only thing I think about the manager thing is I don't know in modern baseball the way modern MLB works is general managers, stat people, analytics people, medical people. Everybody has these aren't just manager decisions. They're decided. Even Ben Sherrington in the pregame show today talked about how a lot of this is mapped out. Now Schulte has to make the decision in the dugout at the time, but a lot of this is almost mapped out. All these scenarios are talked about ahead of time. So this might have been something that's not necessarily on Derek Shelton.
I think part of the problem was if he gets him to the 8th, then Holderman and Bednar are 2 of the best in the game right now.
There you go.
One more inning.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not defending him. I'm just trying to come up for a reason that he made a mistake and he was being too cautious with his pitcher. That's why.
That set up what would have been maybe 2 in a row and go for a sweep today. Instead, they were looking to try to salvage the series, and they didn't do that.
And now they haven't won a series since April. We're still in the same spot.
They're 4-14. So my question to you, Jeff, is will the real Pittsburgh Pirates please stand up, please stand up, please stand up? Who is it?
These are them. The inconsistent roller coaster, still not a complete team, still have too many holes, still have young guys that haven't played enough in the majors to have a true book on yet. That's what this team is. They're going to wow you, and they're going to break your heart all in the same month. And I think that's what we've seen. I think we'll continue to see it for the rest of the year.
We haven't seen it in the same month. We've seen 1 month where we didn't see anything, and 1 month where we did. And that kind of worries me now that they built up all that equity in April. That's great, and we're, there's no reason to get too down on them because of that. And they're still a half game out of first place and everything. But this has the chance. This is bordering on the chance. What's going to start? The wheels could start to really come off here soon if this doesn't get at least stabilized. If they don't play 500 ball for a week or a couple weeks here, if this continues. All of a sudden, you're relying on that April, and it could get really ugly.
Maybe I'm nuts, but this division is so bad. That's why I'm more infuriated by what happened on Saturday.
Right.
Because it is ripe for the
Cardinals
taking.
are gaining steam.
I don't think the Pirates are a playoff team, period. Like we can say that right now. The Cardinals will probably pass them in a week.
Yeah,
I mean,
the way they're going.
The Cardinals are playing. They're a
Well,
better
yeah,
team.
if Shelton prematurely takes out his best
Yeah,
pitcher,
but they're a
they
better
might.
team than the Pirates. Period. They didn't get off to
Their pitching
they got off to a
staff isn't.
horrible start, but they're a better team than the Pirates.
The Pirates-
Their roster is better than the Pirates.
Fair enough, but the Pirates have pitching. I think going into this series, the only team in the National League with a better ERA than them was Atlanta. If you can pitch, you can hang around.
But
It could be the 97 Pirates. That's not out of the question.
Right, but
with
some of
this
them is
team.
still unproven. I mean, you don't know what Contreras is. You like the upside. You like to think what he is. What is Oviedo? What is Luis Ortiz? I mean, there's a lot of question marks in that rotation right now.
Chris, what is Henry Davis for $500 here? Now, we're talking about the guy who hit another home run last night. That's 10. I realize it's Double-A, but Ben Cherington doubled down on his radio show today and said he's not coming up here right now. I think eventually he will be. The question is, what will it take for him to get up here? Or not even Triple-A, move up one level.
I think they made the decision in over the winter that Endy Rodriguez was ahead of him on the depth chart, and it would take something really kind of remarkable, unforeseen, for that to change. So if somebody comes up, it would probably be him. They're really that's one of those things you can't prove tangibly. How good Austin Hedges is as a catcher in terms of working with pitchers, and the point to he leads the majors in pitchers ERA as a catcher, hey, that's
a stat
enough
for everything, isn't there?
But I do think there's some value to that.
and there definitely is some value to that. But it's like,
well, maybe Austin Hedges should have told Derek Shelton, let the guy pitch another inning. That would be value to that guy, right?
Keller said he didn't have any. He was told he's leaving. That's it. He didn't.
AJ Burnett would have fist fought Derek Shelton on the mound. I can't get over that. I really can't.
You've been stewing on this for 24
I have.
hours.
I was very excited that Bob gave me a chance to talk about it.
I do think because of what Endy did last year, he does have, and that forearm injury has set Endy back a little bit. I do think their plan is probably by next month at some point to have either Endy or maybe Henry in Pittsburgh with Austin Hedges as the guy to kind of mentor them.
I see no way Henry Davis is in the major leagues in the next month. They're so cautious with prospects, and now they're going to jump a catcher an entire level of the minor leagues
but
after
it's not
he
just
missed.
a catcher. It is the #1 overall pick, who's 23 years old.
I understand that, but he missed almost all of last year and wasn't good last year.
He's showing that he's pretty good right now, though. How much of this do you need to see?
Ben Cherington is a very conservative general manager.
I know.
Do you guys agree with that?
Agreed.
Yeah. If you look at the great catchers in baseball, Real Muto, Rushman, they caught a ton of games in the minors, a lot. This guy hasn't. I don't see Ben Cherington because we're anxious because they're still technically in the race saying, all right, kid, get out there like Jack Sawinski.
Last I checked, the Triple-A is still the minors. Give him an opportunity there then. Move him. Do something. Well, they can have 2 catchers in Indianapolis. Why can't they do
I don't think they want to do that.
Ideally, Endy gets hot, and he's the one that's called up first, and then Henry goes up to Triple-A. But who knows how this is going to play out? I mean, Rodriguez hasn't done enough.
Greg Brown said to me on Wednesday, they're not going to give up Austin Hedges. You know why? Because he's expensive. They paid him so much money. It's $5 million. I go back to what Chris said. with the pitcher ERA, they put a lot of value in this guy. So I think they're going to let him continue to catch, even though he's hitting 130.
And guys, you see him in the clubhouse, the way he interacts, the way he works. I know people devalue that, but I think there is something to that, especially, but not as a starting catcher, as the backup to one of these young guys and showing them the ropes.
This isn't a surprise. It's not like he never has hit his whole life in a major. So, yeah.
We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to switch it over to OTAs. That's right. We have OTAs this week. That's football in shorts. And we're going to have 2 quarterbacks who just signed new deals with the Steelers. What does that mean? We'll talk about it next right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.